the sports you do and don't know, both within and surrounding Baltimore. Don't ask him about preseason games, oh no, stuffing things in Griffin Basso. Despite it being on the internet, he can call it what he wants, so Glenn Clark Radio, Glenn Clark Radio, Glenn Clark Radio. Duke sucks.
Well, I mean, that's just kind of what sports is, you know. I mean, I do think you're going to have, you know, an off day sometimes, and that's not something that you take lightly for sure. I know, listen, Lamar doesn't take it lightly more than anybody, and no player on this team takes it lightly. I mean, we have conscientious guys, so that's what you do. You go back to work. You go back to work, and you get in there and you practice and you study it and you work together to be as precise as you can. It was not a precise offensive performance in any way. You know, there was nothing precise about it. It was imprecise in every way, and we all know that. We're all, you know, we're all not happy with it. You know, we're very disappointed by it. But you can't live in it. You got to move on and come out swinging the next time. And I think if you watch the league, you'll see that that's very possible.
John, to that point, and I know it's never one thing, but is it attention to detail, little things, with specifically to Lamar that you'd like to see, you know, kind of improve?
It's all those things.
John, are you happy with the way you guys? It feels like you're not ending up in the right play a lot, I guess, offensively. I guess going back to years past, especially the last 2 years, it seemed like you guys had an answer for everything the defense was throwing. And Todd Monken always talked about the pre-snap adjustments that are made in Lamar has the ability to change plays. Do you feel like you guys are still getting into those right plays based on the looks at the line?
So I think we do at times, and at times we don't. You know, it's part of the whole thing. I mean, it's all part of it. There's if it was any one thing, then it would, you know, it'd be one thing. But it's never any one thing. It's always a moving target. That's why it's so tough and so competitive. That's why you see things change every week. You know, it's sports. You know, and it's not. You try to chase. What we want to do is chase being on the same page, being together, being connected. We want to chase that in everything we do, communication-wise, you know, efficiency, and then the defense throws a lot of stuff at you. You know, so you've got to adjust to movement. You've got to adjust to your disguises. You've got to adjust to guys showing up. We don't expect them to show up sometime, and have plans for all that. You know, even a player, you know, just in his world has to adapt to so many moving parts, and that's what makes the game so crazy and chaotic. And we didn't do a good job of that Thursday night. So no, I'm not happy about it. You know, none of us are happy about it. We're happy about it when we really execute well and we put it together and we have the answers, like you're saying. You know, and it shows up in the execution, really. At the end of the day, it shows up in the execution. So that's what we're chasing.
It was John Harbaugh yesterday speaking about Lamar Jackson and the Ravens' offense during his weekly Monday press conference. He would later say, when asked about Lamar Jackson skipping a day of practice every week for the last few weeks, he would later say that Lamar Jackson will practice as much as he can. So there's that. Good morning. It is a Tuesday edition of Glenn Clark Radio. I hope everyone survived the unbelievable snowstorm that we've been dealing with. Thank God we
don't get so ahead of yourself. It's still going. It's still going on.
No, it's definitely not.
I mean, there's precipitating.
Yes, it is precipitating.
And
that
in some places,
accurate.
I mean, maybe higher in the atmosphere, it is snowing.
Higher in the atmosphere.
Yes.
What does higher in the atmosphere mean?
You know what altitude is?
I know. I'm aware of what altitude is. It's just that I don't think you normally say higher in the atmosphere.
At higher levels of elevation.
Right. Like where?
Like, I don't know, 100 feet above our heads.
Like, so you think that, like,
It's colder up there. Yeah.
Up there,
It's colder.
it's snowing.
I mean,
Like you think if we just
I can't see.
we just looked above us.
I think it's a very viable theory.
that there would be snow.
Yeah.
If we just kept looking up.
But as it
Maybe if we
enters,
put the binoculars on. Like,
lower,
we would see
it gets warmer down
somewhere
here.
up there. There's snow.
Yeah, in the mountains around
This
here.
is dynamite stuff, man.
There's mountains around here too.
Like,
Like,
I'm gonna need you to start coming to trivia again. Like, if you have all this information, you can't be hiding it from people. That's not gonna be acceptable. But yeah, the kids needed 2 extra hours today, and who can blame them? There was rain.
it's dangerous.
It's actually adorable.
There was ice out there.
Where?
Like, well, you're in Baltimore
Where?
County. I'm sure you had some.
What?
You're in Baltimore County. Like, you had some. I'm sure.
Where?
On the grass.
Yeah.
And then it could be on the roads.
No, it wasn't on the roads.
It was pouring.
It was rain on the
pouring-
roads.
It was pouring sleet.
No, it wasn't pouring sleet.
It was pouring something.
Yeah, it was pouring rain.
I was thinking about not coming in. You're lucky I'm here.
Yeah.
So slow your roll.
Lord. Close the school. Somebody actually, like in Frederick, I don't know. Maybe in Frederick it's.
Yeah,
But
mountains
didn't, like,
out there.
Like Harford County closed schools. Like,
Did they?
Lord. There is nothing going on.
Well, good for them.
There was one other one. Maybe
They
it
care
wasn't
about their
Harford County.
students. They care about
Maybe
the children.
Maybe they were just 2 hours late too. Somebody else. No, it was Harford. Harford County closed schools.
Well, of course, Frederick used to it, so that's why they wouldn't close.
Lord.
Harford County's not used to this kind of
Ugh.
inclement weather. You know?
Yeah. Rain. Ay.
It was more than
Everybody,
just rain.
everybody gets really excited about snow. Like,
Don't worry, we'll get some.
oh?
Yeah, it's supposed to be a bad one, I think.
Okay. Well then, now that we've gotten through that,
Yeah, now we need to.
back to the Ravens. Where it has been raining. In just a minute, Rod Woodson will join us. Bo Smolka will check in with us a little bit later on today. It's his birthday. Happy birthday,
Oh.
Bo. Don't let me forget to wish him a happy birthday. And yeah, right. It is your birthday. And PressBox fantasy football analyst Joe Serpico will help us preview Waiver-Wire Wednesday. There's nothing. There's nothing that can help you. Now, to be fair, in one league, I cannot be helped. There is no helping me. In another league, I'm going to need a win in order to make sure I protect my playoff spot. I think it's down to like Steve Johnson and I in Ryan Ripken's league, like battling it out for one spot in the playoffs. Ryan Ripken tried to poach Devon Achane away from me. He wanted to give up some God.
Why would anyone trade Devon Achane?
I mean, like, I can't win without Devon Achane.
Samaje Perine, maybe he's an option.
He was the second person to attempt to poach Devon Achane from.
We're
me
starting
this
Keith
season.
Mitchell this week. I think that's what.
Oh, is that what
yeah.
we're doing?
Yeah.
Okay. I appreciate
If
your
Amari Hampton's
confidence.
back and I can't play Vidal, then
When Ryan Ripken wanted
It's
to
either Vidal or Keaton
Ryan
Mitchell.
Ripken wanted to trade.
so we're just gonna throw
no,
Ryan
it's already
Ripken's-
disappeared. I can't see.
You
it
can probably like
anymore.
check your emails, right? Like, is that?
I don't know. It's in
No, it doesn't.
sleeper.
Oh, okay. It should be in your DM history with him, right?
No, because it's after the trade deadline that goes away. 'Cause
I can
it
see my
can't-
trades that someone offered me from last season.
Good for you. It for us it goes away because the way that it shows up in the chat, like you would be able to accept it still, so you can't accept it
All right,
anymore. So
all
it's
right.
gone. But
you
yeah,
say
it
so.
was.
Maybe you're just
I'm
making
like,
it up.
I'm like, bro, love you.
Evan Ingram for Devon Achane.
No, it was two play. It was that bit where, like, you know, when you give somebody two mediocre players, like, well, their combined points, because like you're convinced that someone's dumb enough to understand, like, oh, those combined points equal out to the points that I'm getting from that one guy.
Seahawks defense and Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah, when
for
those
Devon
guys are
Achane.
taking up two of your roster spots.
Actually, that'd be a pretty good deal. Jacoby Brissett and Devon Achane, or and the Seahawks defense definitely outscored Devon Achane.
I mean, this week you would have like to have the Seahawks defense over just about anybody. But yeah, we'll preview Waiver-Wire Wednesday with Joe Serpico a little bit later on as well. Today's show is brought to you by Game Day Men's Health in Owings Mills, Frederick, and Columbia. You know, I've been taking peptide proteins, and it's been an utter game changer for me. Store these numbers, 443-264-4454 in Owings Mills, 443-266-3505 in Columbia, 240-931-3717 in Frederick. Complimentary testosterone test. Just find out. Get your answer. Are you low T? If you're not, they still might be able to help you like they helped me. Maybe you're dealing with ED. Maybe you're dealing with stubborn belly fat. Whatever it is, it's for men of a certain age. And these are things that we don't want to talk about. This is a safe space for us to deal with it and to improve our lives. And I will tell you that their work legitimately saves lives. at Game Day Men's Health, GameDayMen'sHealth.com. All right, let's talk some Ravens this morning. Had to actually do this a little bit earlier on because of his schedule, but always appreciate an opportunity to catch up with Rod Woodson here on GCR. And as the Ravens shift focus to the Steelers this week, there is no man that is more capable of discussing Ravens-Steelers than our next guest, who, of course, we try to ignore is a Steelers legend because we love him as a Ravens Super Bowl champion and remind everyone he couldn't win a Super Bowl until he was a Baltimore Raven. And he is, of course, part of the Ravens broadcast crew. He is the Hall of Famer, the great Rod Woodson, who's with us now here on GCR. Rod, it's Glenn. It's always great to catch up with you, man. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving, other than, the football game. Thank you for taking the time for us.
Well, my pleasure. Yeah, that was a tough one last week, but the turkey was good over at Jerry's house. The food was great, and the camaraderie with friendship was great.
We'll take that. Rod, just before we get into the Ravens, because I don't think I've ever asked you this before, what are Ravens-Steelers games and weeks like for you? And I imagine it's more like strange when you're out in Pittsburgh doing the games because you are a beloved figure in that city, and yet you're showing up wearing purple. Like, what are these game days and these weeks like for you, given your history with these franchises?
It's today's game is a little bit more susceptible to seeing players, go to different teams, right?
Yeah.
It's like not that many players stay on with one team throughout their whole career. Now, when I came in, most of the guys did stay, but as, late in my played 17 years, so late in my career, that's when you start seeing players starting to move more and more and more. And it's rare to see one player staying with one team throughout his whole career, especially if he's played double-digit years. It's really rare, and it's rare today. So I think teams, fans, individuals are starting to be at ease with it. For me, the teams to me is like when the the Ravens and the Steelers are very similar in everything that they do, from the front office to the way they play, to the way they coach. You think about the coaches they have had, think about John Harbaugh, special teams coordinator. I know he was a DB coach for a little bit, but, think of Mike Tomlin. Nobody knew who Mike Tomlin was. When Mike Tomlin first got the job, they're like, where was he coaching at? It's so finding those individuals like that, the people who lead teams, two of the longer tender coaches in the league, they're very similar in everything that they do, from the front office to the coaching to the way they play football, from run first offense to a hit you in the mouth type of defense. They're very similar. The only thing that's different is the colors and the cities that they play in. So, it's definitely, it's hard for me to pull for sides, but I do say this. The games are always close. They're always fun to watch. They're always those old school, hit them in the mouth type of games. And every game, for the most part, comes down to like one score.
That is a fact. And, obviously we know who we're hoping is going to come out on top in this one. I appreciate the way that you have to handle it and walk the line, given the life that you have lived and your relevance in both cities. Rod, I heard you this morning with C4 and Brian Neiman. Look, we can't ignore what's going on with Lamar Jackson, right? Like, we can't pretend like it's not happening. But to the point, like, I feel like what we're saying is, hey, well, the Ravens can't win anything with Lamar Jackson playing this way. I guess my question would be, like, is there some world where Lamar Jackson could just shake out of this, could just show up on Sunday and look like Lamar Jackson again, and we'll have forgotten how the last 3 weeks have looked? Or are we so convinced that this is physical that it's just really hard to believe that we're going to see the Superman version of Lamar Jackson before the season is over?
No, obviously you can shake out of it. And what I said, and what I'll keep saying is that not just Lamar, every player on the roster needs to look themselves in the mirror and try to find the best version of themselves for the rest of this year. And whatever they need to do to get to that, right? Is it more sleep? Is it more reps? Is it more watching film, more critiquing in their practices. Lamar has been a little off throwing the football. Obviously, there's been some open guys, but the pass protection's been a little shaky. It feels like Lamar's not trusting that. I think he's a little banged up. He's a little tired. I think his footing's off a little bit. I think his arm movement is off a little bit. But he normally plays well within that. He did last year, right? I mean, I thought he should have been MVP last year, and they gave it to Josh Allen. But with that being said, can he get to that point again? Can they get to that point again? I think they can. And the silver lining is they still got to play the Steelers twice. They got to play Cincy again. They get another AFC foe in the New England Patriots they got to play. So they have an opportunity, because I think there's only going to be one team coming out of AFC North this year. And it's going to be the winner of the North. And they got a great opportunity in front of them. If they can win this week, they're in sole possession of first place. And, they have their own destiny in their own hands. They just got to go out there and play best football. But I think there's a version of Lamar that he can get to again. And I think Todd Monken can help them. But I think he has to help himself by doing the little things right. Because at the end of the day, when you're not playing your best football, it's not the big things that really are messing you up. It's the little bitty things that are messing you up. And I think he needs to get back to the foundation of playing at the quarterback position. What does he need to do better week in and week out with his footwork, with his arm movements, but also what the defense is giving him? If it's giving him a 5-yarder, throw the 5-yarder. Don't try to look for a 15, 20-yarder down the field and then take a sack.
Were you at all encouraged by his – it seemed like at least early on in the game he was more willing to try to use his legs than he had been in the 2 previous weeks. As bad as the game ended up being and as disastrous as the turnovers were you encouraged at all by that and maybe that being the next step in seeing the full and complete version of Lamar Jackson?
Yeah, I mean, I know this. I know when – it's crunch time and there's critical drives or critical plays that need to have to happen. Lamar likes to be that guy. And so I know that that's in him still. I know that's there. But it's this, and I say this, it's not always the big things the easy things to see. I think it's just his little things that he's doing wrong that are hurting him. And I think maybe he's a little banged up. Maybe he's, he's in his own head because he hasn't played the way he normally does play as Lamar Jackson. But then the offense is not playing great, right? But then I think they got to figure out how to use Derrick Henry throughout the game. He only had 10 carries in the whole game, right? 6 in the first quarter, none in the second quarter,
right.
3 or 4 in the third quarter with 1 reception, and none in the fourth quarter. And I kind of get the fourth quarter because they were playing from behind, so they were throwing the ball more. But even with that being said, you still want to be who you are. You want to live to your own identity. What do we do well, and let us do it. But the silver lining is they get to play the Steelers twice, and they get to play them this week. And they're not playing good football. So if everybody in that Baltimore Ravens, Owen Mills building, every player, every coach can look at themselves and say, how do I get the best version of myself for here on out, for the rest of this season, so we can win the North and get to the postseason? If they can do that collectively, individually first, then collectively together, they can win this football game and they can finish up on a high note and get into the playoffs.
He is the great Rod Woodson. He is with us here on GCR. Rod, you bring up running the ball, and I know John Harbaugh referenced it, and he said, look, hey, some of the circumstances let us down on Thursday night, and that was part of the reason why we didn't run the ball specifically in the second quarter. You tell me if I'm crazy, right? Because I recognize that the play they called out of the 2-minute warning worked, and we all think that push-off that was caught on Zay Flowers was questionable, and it was a touchdown. But it strikes me that in a place where you haven't been able to get the ball on the ground, and when you deferred to start the game for the singular purpose of trying to steal back-to-back possessions, that play call bothered me, even though it should have worked. it bothered me that this is your opportunity to recalibrate and say, we can try to get this thing going on the ground, hold the ball for the rest of the half, score, and get the ball back. That's the one that jumps out at me in terms of like, hey, where should you have run the ball that you didn't? How about out of the 2-minute warning when everything is going your way, you have momentum, and the clock isn't a problem because you're already in Cincinnati territory at that point?
Yeah, I tell you, listen, first of all, that penalty on Zay Flowers was not a penalty.
Yes.
I mean, we can get into the reffing in the National Football League this year. I think it's been horrendous. I just think it's been absolutely horrible. I think it's been very inconsistent. Players don't even know how to play football anymore because one play it's a penalty. Next play it's not a penalty. But the other team and if you're in another stadium, you can push off all day long. So it's just like the inconsistency of the refs this year has just been nuts throughout the National Football League. That's the first thing. Secondly, I mean, I kind of get like, listen, when you think you should run the football, if they're stacking the box,
right? You zig, we zag, right?
you're gonna can something. You're gonna go to another play, right? And that you can do, and I think Lamar has that freedom to do that. And I don't know if that was a called run. I don't really know about the play itself, but I know that sometimes when you have that momentum, when you're feeling the way you are, you can say, hey, they can stack the box if they want to, but we're going to still block everybody up, and we're still going to get 3 to 4 to 5 yards, 3.5 yards. And if you can do that consistently, you're going to keep getting first downs in the National Football League. So I kind of get what you're saying. I know sometimes we look at it from the Monday morning quarterback situation, and you say they should have ran the football. I know, Todd Monken has done a tremendous job, but last year he did a tremendous job of coordinating and play calling last year with the offense with the Baltimore Ravens. This year's been a little inconsistent, but the inconsistent play for the most part comes down to when Lamar's not playing good football. And obviously he didn't play for several weeks, and ever since he's been back, he just hasn't seemed like he's been the same guy off. The offense hasn't been the same offense that they were before he got injured and took those games off. So you got to hope that somewhere along the line, Lamar finds the fundamentals. Every position, every player goes back to the fundamentals, because at the end of the day, that's what you're based off of. Everything that you do is from the foundation of the fundamentals of each position. So if they can get back to that, if they can get back to that collectively or individually, and then collectively they do it together on game days, they're going to start looking like the team that we saw at the beginning of not at the beginning of the year where they were losing, but at the time frame that we were winning and having those win streaks, and the offense was playing really good and scoring points against any defense in the National Football League.
Rod, two things real quick, because you brought up the line earlier. What did you make of what you saw from Emery Jones in the time he was out there? Obviously, the holding call wasn't very good, but would you like to see more of Emery Jones moving forward? Do you think that he can help in solving some of the problems they've been dealing with?
I think they're going to keep giving him a shot, because I think as he keeps playing and keeps getting reps, I mean, it's, first of all, you're coming in, 3/4 of the season's over, and you're getting your first snaps. And I think he played decently well. So I think as you keep giving him reps, he has really good feet. He's going to keep getting better. So I think, I think it's the coach's responsibility to put the best players on the field who can give them the best opportunity to win football games. And if it's Emery Jones, then you put Emery Jones on the field and you give him the reps that he needs. And if you need to alternate the reps, if you need to have a snap count for him and to see where he's going to be and how he's doing, then you have to do that. But I think it's and John Harbaugh knows this. You got to put the best players on the field and find a way to get them on the field consistently. And if they can do that, I think, first of all, you give Lamar a little bit more peace of mind in the passing game, because I think he feels the pressure, even though some of it is man-made because he does have open receivers, but he's holding on to the ball a little bit longer than he should. And they've done a decent job, but I think, putting the best players on the field, and if Emery Jones is the best 11 on the offensive side of it, when he's one of the best 5 on the offensive line, then you have to play him.
The defense was the pressure was not nearly there the way it had been in the 4 weeks leading up to that, and since they had acquired Draymond Jones. Where is that between, hey, that happens sometimes, and you credit Joe Burrow, versus the opinion that some fans would have of, well, that's because a lot of that you were just doing it against really bad NFL quarterbacks, and it's proof that the defense wasn't really that much better over the course of the last 4 weeks. It was just more about the opponent.
Yeah, I mean, I think, what I would like from the defense is that keep bringing pressure, but be creative. I mean, last year you were really creative in some of the blitzes that you were running. This year, not so much. That we don't run a lot of games. We ran a couple games this past week. That's the first time we saw that in quite a while. So, just keep being creative. And I think the biggest thing is just going out and playing fast, physical football for the Ravens. If they can do that on defense and put the opposing offenses in bad spots, in tough situations, then that's going to benefit the defense in four quarters.
And then, Rod, I promise this is the last one before I let you go take your dog out. The Steelers have lost 5 of their last 7. I know this is Ravens Steelers, right? Like, I assume that we ignore all of that and it doesn't matter how the Steelers are playing, or considering how difficult their Decembers and Novembers have been in recent years, do we kind of assume this is what the Steelers are at this point?
Well, I think you are what you are, right? You are what your record indicates, especially this time of the year. Both teams are playing 500 football. The Steelers aren't playing really good football, and the Ravens need to get back to their winning ways. They played this solid football leading up to last week, and we know it's going to be a tough game. All the games are one score or less when the Steelers and Baltimore play each other over the years, and I don't see anything being different coming up this weekend.
Rod Woodson, of course, you will hear him Sunday with the Ravens broadcast team for Ravens Steelers. Rod, always appreciate you. Give your dog a hug for us as well. Thank you for taking the time for us.
I will. I appreciate it.
The great Rod Woodson with us here on GCR. Appreciate him taking the time for us this morning. Today's show is also brought to you by CountySports.Zone. Of course, championship week is upon us in Annapolis in the state high school football finals. 6 games between Thursday and Saturday, and to find out about all of them, everything you need to know, how the teams got there, what to expect, you can go right now to CountySports.Zone. It's proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com. And then after this week, winter sports season getting underway, basketball at the private school level already underway. You can find out everything you need to know about winter sports season as well. CountySports.Zone, proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com. We continue along here on a Tuesday edition of GCR, and if it's a Tuesday, that means we're catching up with our friend, PressBox Ravens beat writer, Mr. Bo Smolka, who's back with us now here on GCR. Bo, good morning. Appreciate you taking the time as always, and happy birthday to you, sir.
Thanks. Good morning.
Bo, I have no idea where the line is between the Ravens are irreparably broken offensively and this is still Lamar Jackson. At any moment, he could wake up and be Lamar Jackson again, and he did look at least a little bit more mobile, and there was at least an amount of goofiness involved in what happened on Thursday, and maybe we shouldn't overreact to it the way that we have. Where are we between those two things?
Well, I don't think it's easy to just, turn it on and immediately look great again. I mean, I don't know that he's there. I think health is probably an issue, and I know we've talked to him about it, and he insists that if he's on the field, he should be able to do everything he can do. I was most alarmed at the game the other night with how many throws were just way off, and that to me was a troubling sign. I mean, even the swing pass to Keaton Mitchell, which should be a 98% completion rate, was just bounced into the ground. And he way badly overthrew Rashad Bateman. He wasn't close with Zay Flowers a couple times. So, yeah, there was some flukiness to that game. And, yeah, they have a touchdown if Likely holds the ball. Probably half the time the touchdown to Zay Flowers is not going to get called, and he's going to get the touchdown, But it happened that way. To me, the more troubling thing was given how Jackson has looked over the past month or so, the passing has regressed. It just has. And this is the first time in his career that he's had 4 straight games of under 60% completion percentage. And at some point, those passes, you got to string completions together to sustain drives and keep the offense on the field. And until they can do that, they're in trouble. So they can't just wave a wand and make him perfect. But I will say it is true that he looked more mobile. He looked a little quicker running, and he looked more comfortable running the other night, which was also encouraging. But the passing game, the passing itself really looks to be troublesome.
Yeah, it really looks awful, is I think the way that we look at it. And I don't know. I don't know how it gets fixed. We saw Emery Jones. We've been talking about him for weeks. It was interesting to me that it was entirely at left guard and not at all at right guard, as I think most of us had thought that Andrew Voorhees had played a little bit better than Daniel Falele in recent weeks. What did you make of him? What did you make of what you heard from John Harbaugh about it yesterday? I guess we're assuming that they're going to continue that rotation.
Yeah, I mean, what I made of it, I agree with John Harbaugh. I think it was physical. I think there were plays that he kind of got himself twisted around. And again, it's his first game ever. So I know, and I think we talked a couple weeks ago, I said I would pump the brakes on anyone thinking Emery Jones is just going to walk in and be the savior to this line when he's never played guard in his career, and he hasn't played an NFL snap. But he played in this game, and John Harbaugh pointed out yesterday when we asked him about that it, might he also go to the right side and play the right side? And it sounded like no. It sounded like, look, he's a new guy. He's just starting out. We just want him to get comfortable in one spot. And I think that you can make sense of that. And so it looks like it's going to be him probably platooning with Voorhees, and yet Daniel Falele continues to be the right guard. I know people won't want to hear that, but that seemed to be what John Harbaugh was saying yesterday. So at this point, I'd be surprised if we see him on the right side. It sounds like they're saying to him right now, look, you keep working at the left side,
right.
Get better and better at the left side, and that will help us. So I think we will see him some more, probably in rotations like we did in that game, and I think we'll only see him on the left.
Bo, I don't even know if you can grasp this, right? But between when you're out there during the week and after the games, I hear from Ravens fans all the time, like the players have to be fed up, and they've got to be frustrated. And I don't know the answer to that. Like, I'm sure they're frustrated. They have to be frustrated, right? But, like, this question of where they're at mentally, I mean, they had just won 5 straight games, and while they weren't pretty, like, that's the part that matters. I don't know how to answer the question of where this group is. Like, it seems on the whole like they're a team that kind of deserves to be sitting at 6-6, no matter what goofy things occurred during the year. I don't think any of us believe they're a particularly good football team. We also know they're not a bad team. All of this kind of makes sense. I don't know, like, who players would be mad at or angry about. I think we all have questions about some of the play calling, but what do you make of what's going on inside the building?
I mean, it's like, I don't know, it was Bill Parcells or Dennis Green. One of them said, your record is what it is, or the record is what it says it is. And it is. This is who they are. They botched the first part of the season. They had good wins, not good wins, but they had wins, and that's all that matters. And now they're 6-6, and it is where they are. They're frankly very fortunate that so far, that's actually good enough in this division to be right there. In the building itself, we don't get a great read on that. Sometimes during games, you might see some body language that doesn't look good. I would say in the locker room, I don't sense a lot of that. I think, people were really frustrated when they were 1-5. They didn't think as Kyle Hamilton told us, no one ever would have thought, if you told them in August that they'd be sitting at 1-5, they would have all thought you were crazy. So it's hard. I don't really get a sense of like palpable frustration in the locker room as much as just like they're kind of, in some ways, they're kind of at wit's end as to how they got where they are. And they do believe, and they're right, that everything they want is in front of them. That's what I'm sure we're going to hear from them tomorrow. Everything we want is still in front of us, and it actually is. I mean, the division title is theirs to be won, and really they can take a really big step toward winning it if they win the next 2 weeks. Conversely, they're in deep, deep trouble if they lose the next 2 weeks, and they're in moderate trouble if they lose Sunday. So I just think I think there's a bit of confusion itself with them. Like what's happening here? They feel like they have the players, and it's just not. It hasn't really connected like they thought it would. And injuries certainly played a part in some of those early games, and we know it. Five rookies starting against Houston and so forth. But yeah, this team feels like they should be a lot better and a lot better off. But I know when we go in there tomorrow, we're going to hear, we're looking forward, everything's in front of us, and that's kind of how they have to approach it. But privately, I'm sure there's some frustration.
PressBox Ravens beat writer Bo Smolka is with us here on GCR. Bo, how much responsibility does Todd Monken? Like, it is interesting. We talked about it, right? Like, John Harbaugh has been very vocal in his frustration with Todd Monken at times this season, and I get that it's not as simple as just saying, everybody always likes to talk about, hey, when you don't run the ball a certain number of times, you lose. And I always joke, okay, then just hand the ball off the first 25 plays of the game, and then you'll win, right? Like, obviously that's the way it works. I know it's not that simplistic. I've pointed out that, like, the part of the game that was puzzling to me, and I understand the play worked for what should have been a touchdown, was right before the 2-minute warning when you're trying to have possession on both sides of the half. That's literally the reason why you defer to start the game, and yet you're throwing to the end zone there. The no handoffs to Derrick Henry in the second quarter, we can say game situation dictates that when you have a goofy fumble. I understand all of those things, but I don't know, man. Like, it's hard for me to not think there's got to be some disconnect given how much John Harbaugh has talked about it this season, and given that we still see these moments where it just seems perplexing within the games what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, it is. More people have pointed out to me, too, that John Harbaugh seems to be, seems to be much more kind of openly critical of Todd Monken than of Zach Orr.
No doubt.
Early in the season. And I don't know if critical is the right word, as, we want to run the ball. He tried to explain away, as you just did yesterday, Harbaugh did, that the game situation, they had 2 3-and-outs, and then they're in 2-minute offense the last half of the end of the second quarter. And then basically they had the ball after their first drive in the second half. They were in trouble, and they're basically throwing to try to catch up. So I do agree that it's weird to have a whole quarter early in a game that's still in play that Derrick Henry doesn't touch the ball. But the problem with them, the biggest problem with them, and I haven't gone back and looked at it, but other than a couple long runs, it feels like Derrick Henry on first down is getting just like a yard or two. So they're finding themselves in 2nd and 8 and not 2nd and 3 too often. And so that changes probably how they approach the succeeding downs. So that's part of it. I know a lot of people are also going crazy that Rasheen Ali had more snaps than Derrick Henry. But again, Rasheen Ali was taking the Justice Hill role. For everything Derrick Henry is, he's not a particularly good pass blocker. And so Rasheen Ali, they've clearly identified as the back they want on the field in pass situations. So that's why Rasheen Ali played as much as he did. He didn't really carry the ball, I think maybe once or twice, but that's why Ali's on the field that much. And, of course, there's still more talk about getting Keaton Mitchell more involved. And we saw the touchdown. That was a good creative play. Again, getting Keaton Mitchell wide and even getting Derrick Henry wide, I think, is the way to go, because this team has now shown over, 12 games that they just don't run well between the tackles. They're just not doing it all year. And they keep trying it, and it keeps not working. So that's on Todd Monken, too, to figure out ways to – you see that, you've seen enough of it to know you need to do something different.
And perhaps maybe even a little bit more Keaton Mitchell. Yeah, I mean, it seems like those things are, I don't know. It just shouldn't be this, is what I keep coming back to. It shouldn't be this. But on the defensive side of things, like, look, the defense played well enough to win. I think it would be a mistake to say they played well on Thursday night. They did bend but didn't break, and they didn't give up touchdowns in the first half. In the second half, Joe Burrow did basically whatever he wanted to do, save for the one turnover. I think the question that people are asking is, or the way that they're phrasing, is the way that they were playing for those 4 weeks, did that ultimately have more to do with who they were playing against? And did we get too high on the play of the defense for those 4 weeks because they were going up against the Dylan Gabriel, Shador Sanders, Tyrod Taylors, and J.J. McCarthy's of the world. And the reality is they're not like a dramatically good defense. They're just a defense that was able to look good against lesser quarterbacks.
Well, I think there's no question that the quarterback level of play dropped, and the quarterback level of play is going to elevate, and they're going to have to be ready for that. And we thought from April on that kind of mid-section of the schedule was the soft underbelly of it, and they'd have to take advantage of it. And to their credit, they did. But I think it's a good question. How good are they when they're going to face really good quarterbacks over several weeks in a row? Yeah, I think it somewhat remains to be seen. I mean, losing Nate Wiggins is a significant one, and we'll see if he's back this week because he's been a really good player for them. Chidobe Awuzie has played pretty well, and he's come up with a couple big plays for them. Moving Kyle Hamilton up to the line of scrimmage, I think, has helped that defense. And I don't care who they were playing. I think it's a better defense with Kyle Hamilton being more active in like that slot linebacker near the line of scrimmage kind of role. But I do think they're still going to have to elevate their play when they get into this last month of the season. Again, they're going to see Joe Burrow again. They're going to see Jordan Love. We'll see who they see in Pittsburgh. But Drake May. So these are good quarterbacks who are playing well, and they're going to have to handle them. And so their play will probably have to be elevated than it was. You're not facing J.J. McCarthy or Shador Sanders, who's basically playing for the first time. So they know it. So I think it's a combination. It's kind of a hedged answer, but I do think they're overall a better defense than they were the first 6 weeks. They're healthier, and I think they're just more complete. But I will say, too, they're going to have to, and we've talked about it all year, they're going to have to get to the quarterback. They're going to have to just get a pass rush, however they sustain it or however they manufacture it. Those quarterbacks that they're going to face over the last month will kill them if they give them too much time. And I think that's still probably the biggest factor, because I don't care how good you are at cornerback. If that quarterback has all data for that receiver to get himself open, he's going to get himself open.
Bo, you brought up earlier the significance of this game, and I feel like that might be lost on a few folks because, there's still 5 weeks left in the season. It's hard to overreact to any particular thing, and they're still tied for first place at the moment. But as I start to do the math, my gut tells me 9-8 will probably ultimately be the record that wins this division. But it to me has to include, you go 9-8, you better either sweep the Steelers or win in Cincinnati in order to do it. Because if you don't do those things, if you split the games with the Steelers and lose to the Bengals, then the Bengals are very much back into the picture. You have to do one of those two things to keep the Bengals out of the conversation. I think the Ravens have a math issue that we're not really dealing with as much just because of the frustration of the last game. And to me, I do think this is a critically important game to make sure that you don't welcome the Bengals back into the conversation.
Well, it's true. I mean, 6-6 to get to 9-8, and I've been saying for a long time I think 9-8 is going to win this division, and maybe 10 will still win it, but that means one of these teams is going 4-1 over the last 5, and I'm not sure which team is doing that. And look, based on what each team showed this weekend, I don't think either the Pittsburgh Steelers or the Ravens look like a team that can win 4 out of 5 right now. The Bengals have to go to Buffalo this week, and if they win that one, don't look now, but they could absolutely win their last 5. And suddenly they're 9-8 with a sweep of Baltimore. They'd have to sweep Baltimore, obviously, to win their last 5. But, no, it's a huge game because you also have to go back to Pittsburgh for the last game of the season. And so if you've already lost once to them, then even a tie goes to them if they beat you again in Pittsburgh. So you've got to win 3 of your last 5 to get to 9-8. They've got this game, then they've got to go to Cincinnati. They get the Patriots, who are playing really well. Then they got to go to Lambeau and to Pittsburgh to end the season. So finding 3 wins there, if you put that on paper, finding 3 wins there, I would argue the most winnable of those 5 is Pittsburgh at home.
Yep.
And so, it's an enormously big game this weekend.
Anything else that's on your radar for this week as you're out there, Bo?
Well, we'll see what Nate Wiggins' situation is because John Harbaugh was kind of non-committal about him. He thought it was a day-to-day thing. Maybe he'll play this week. That would be a big help if he gets back. Or obviously they would really like to have him back when they go to Cincinnati and deal with Jamar Chase. He also said that Tavius Robinson and Ardarius Washington might return to practice this week, which would be, I don't think we'd see them as soon as Sunday, especially Ardarius Washington. But we'll be watching to see if they're back on the field. And, of course, we'll see if Lamar Jackson's out there because he's missed now, I think, 3 Wednesdays in a row. So we'll see if he's out there Wednesday. I would expect whether he is or not, he'll play Sunday, and we'll go through this exercise again. But I think Nate Wiggins is the biggest one to watch.
No, I think that's true. And, of course, Lamar Jackson, he's going to practice as much as he can. So that's
as much as he can.
As much as he can. At B Smolka, that's how you follow him. PressBoxOnline.com is where you see his stuff. Bo, appreciate you as always. Have a great birthday. Thanks for doing this. We'll talk again next week. All right.
All right. Thanks. Take care.
Bo Smolka, PressBox Ravens beat writer, with us here on GCR. Today's show also brought to you by the Stan the Fan Variety Hour. Stan and Luke Jackson will be joined by Katie Wu of The Athletic to discuss Ryan Helsley a little bit more coming up today at 5 o'clock. Facebook.com/PressBoxSports, YouTube.com/PressBoxOnline, and PressBoxOnline.com/video. And as always, Stan's shows are brought to you by the Costas Inn and the new Costas Inn open in Timonium at the Grandstand. We'll preview Waiver-Wire Wednesday with Joe Serpico, PressBox Fantasy Football Analyst, next. It's Glenn Clark Radio. Get in the game with Volo Sports. With over 15 sports to choose from, join a league or grab a Volo membership for discounted play, free daily pickups, fitness classes, and exclusive events. But the best part? A portion of every league fee helps the Volo Kids Foundation provide free sports to over 5,000 kids across Baltimore City each year. Don't miss out. Early pricing for the winter season ends December 12th. Final registration deadline is January 15th. Sign up now at volosports.com/Baltimore.
Get ready to hit the ultimate holiday jackpot at Live Casino during the live action $1 million giveaway. Every Friday through December 26th, we'll draw 25 lucky cash winners, but only one winner each Friday will advance to the final rounds on December 26th, where you could win $1 million in just 3 spins. Come make your million, only at Live Casino. At Erndale Mills, must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Feeling sluggish, unfocused, or not like yourself? It could be low testosterone. At Game Day Men's Health, we specialize in testosterone replacement therapy to help men boost energy, improve mood, and regain confidence. Our treatments, including testosterone cypionate, are safe, natural, and tailored to fit your lifestyle with weekly injections or pellet therapy. Get started today with a free testosterone test and feel the difference. GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Game Day Men's Health, where men reclaim their game.
The weather's getting cooler, so when you and your family are picking out a place to dine, be it lunch or dinner, let's make it nice and easy. Now, with 2 great locations, the Costas Inn remains your #1 destination. Whether you want to get steamed crabs and the full Costas menu out at the original location at 4100 North Point Boulevard, or sample the complete menu minus the steamed crabs at the new location above the grandstand at the Timonium Racetrack. Costas is your place to go. Check out the website, CostasInn.com, for a look at the menu, and if you want to plan that crab feast, call 410-477-1975. The Costas Inn.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
Looking for Baltimore's premier waterfront dining experience? Head to Nick's Fish House, located in the Baltimore Peninsula. Enjoy crabs all year long, plus happy hour Monday through Thursday from 3 to 6. Planning a celebration? From rehearsal dinners to corporate crab feasts, Nick's is the spot to make it unforgettable. And the fun doesn't stop there. Live music fills the air every Thursday through Sunday. Check out the full lineup at nicksfishhouse.com. Nick's, it's where Baltimore comes to eat, drink, and play by the water.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
Coming back in here with Glenn and the other guy, Garrett, whatever his name is. You know who they are.
All right, back in here on GCR as we continue along on a Tuesday edition of the program. Project Game Day returns this Sunday following Ravens Steelers. Come hang out with us, facebook.com. Well, go to PressBoxOnline.com/game day. That's the best way to go about doing it. PressBoxOnline.com/game day. Myself, Rita, KZ, Stecca, Griffin, and former Ravens linebacker Tyus Bowser. We do it every game day. Come hang out with us. All brought to you by Game Day Men's Health, 1-800-GAMBLER, HelpMyGamblingProblem.org, The Costas Inn, and Live Casino and Hotel. We didn't talk at all about the Patriots sort of beating the tar out of the Giants last night.
Who cares? They were supposed to give it Trevion Henderson the ball 50 times, and they didn't.
Basically like they didn't win. Basically like they lost. They did look good in the Patriot uniforms. Can't lie about that. That looked good, and obviously it looked good in general. Drake May moves ahead of Matt Stafford in the NFL MVP odds. I also saw this week that did Diego Pavia take over as the odds favorite to win the Heisman?
Did he really?
I assume that that he doesn't play this final week, where obviously both Sayan and Mendoza do. So
now's the time to get in on
Sayan or Mendoza, whichever one. I guess if you assume Ohio State's going to win, then you try to get in on Sayan. I do want to. I saw that, but I didn't double up on that to make sure that's accurate. I saw somebody tweeting about how Pavia had taken over as the Heisman favorite.
FanDuel has Mendoza and Pavia both at plus 160. And then Sayan at plus 195.
So, yeah, basically all about the same.
Jeremiah Love, 45-1.
I'm going to probably not on Jeremy, seeing as how he does not have another game.
That was another ticket I had to burn on Saturday, or I guess Friday night. I had Marcel Reed Heisman.
Yeah.
I thought that one, there was a back door there, and obviously they had to make the SEC championship.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Or at least win that game.
Yeah. Didn't happen. Didn't happen. Terrible. But, yeah, Patriots win. They continue to look good, and they get a bye now on top of everything else. Sure. Just really feel good for them.
Well, they haven't clinched a bye, right?
No, they get a bye. They get their
week,
bye.
Oh.
They haven't had their bye yet.
Yeah, that's really tough. Joe, I got to start.
All right, we'll get there. Settle down.
Drake May's on bye.
Settle down. Calm down.
Jaden Daniels has one arm. I don't know what I'm doing.
I don't think he's playing ever. I don't think he's ever playing. Drake May now minus 125 to be NFL MVP. Matt Stafford plus 125. The dark horses are Dak Prescott and Jordan Love at 16-1 in the NFL MVP race at the moment. Let's talk more about fantasy football this week. He joins us every Tuesday to preview Waiver-Wire Wednesday. He is our PressBox fantasy football analyst. He's Joe Serpico, and he's back with us here on GCR. Joe, good morning. How are you, man?
I'm hanging in there, guys. Did you say Matt Stafford's at plus odds now? I would get in on that.
He has plus odds, plus 125 after losing to the Panthers.
I think I'm getting in on that.
There you go. Speaking of the Rams, I guess let's start there. I assume there's no value in Blake Corum because Kyren Williams is allegedly going to be good this week, but can't help but notice that Blake Corum's looked pretty good whenever he's touched the ball, and Kyren Williams has kind of been banged up. I can't imagine it's something you're spending fab on, but should you be grabbing Blake Corum if he's still available?
If you're a Kyren Williams owner, you absolutely need to own him. This is that time of the year to have all those handcuff running backs. But you said it. He's averaging about 11.5 carries the last 4 games, and every time he touches the ball, he looks good. And, it is becoming one of those things, kind of, I don't want to say completely what we're seeing in Chicago, but we're seeing how the backup is starting to get more and more looks as the starter kind of is bogging down as we enter the late half of the season here. So, yeah, I absolutely would say you add him for sure, regardless of your roster size, or whether you have, let's say, Williams or not there. But at the same time, I'd rather much have him over some of these wide receivers that are out there, similar to what we talked about last week. This is that time to have these handcuff guys over opposed to, let's say, your third or fourth wide receiver that you might not need the rest of the way.
Yeah, I don't even know if I like my second wide receiver right now because apparently Roma Dunze is just dead. Just dead, Dom. I don't know what's going on there. Let's talk about, I guess, for the sake of talking about wide receivers, Devin Neal kind of was a bust in the first week after we all grabbed him. Is Devon Vele a thing?
So he was like one of those that I was considering putting in there, but it was more like, in the situation of, let's say, the Jets where I have Adonai Mitchell listed, he's at least the number one. But again, it's the Jets. I even put in there. You got to be truly desperate if you want to be starting a Jet this time of the year. But you kind of said it before. There are still, it's weird. This is the last week for fantasy football for some people, and there's teams on a bye. So if you're in one of those situations, you got to play somebody. I could understand why you're going as deep as grabbing Vele, but let's say Vele, I don't have him ranked much higher than, let's say, a Trey Tucker or Darnell Mooney or even a DK. So it's just like you're playing that game down there where you're really hoping that it's like a hit or miss. So I'm hoping you're not in that circumstance, but if you truly need a guy, Vele is an option.
Man. All right, let's talk about some of the running back situations because where are we at with Arizona at this point?
You need to have Bam Knight. He's the guy to own right now, and then it's just pretty much playing the waiting game with Trey Benson. I think even in the first game back with Benson, let's say he does come back this week, I think Knight is still going to get the majority of the carries there, and then I still think we're going to have Michael Carter mixed in. So, it's just more waiting to see what happens with Benson, but in the meantime, Bam Knight's the guy to own.
Is he still playable?
Yeah, as long as Benson's out, yes, I think he's still playable.
But
absolutely.
If Benson plays this week, can you still play Bam Knight?
Then see, that's when things get a little bit murky. So probably not.
Right.
Probably will drop him a bunch of them. That's both guys, to be really honest.
Right.
Trying to avoid that backfield at all costs if they're, let's say, if both are playing.
I assume there's no value to Sean Tucker anymore.
No, now that we see that not only did Bucky Irving come back strong, he came back really strong. He looks like he just basically took right over that backfield. You hold him for the same situation as I just said. He's a handcuff guy to hold on to, but at the same time, he's not somebody you're starting this week, that's for sure. And then I can totally understand based off, if you need the roster spot, whether you got to get rid of Sean Tucker or not.
What about the Kansas City backfield?
I mean, it looks like now all of a sudden it's Kareem Hunt that's kind of taken over it again. So he's the guy to own there. I was one of those for several weeks. We kind of hoping that Brashard Smith was going to be something there, but I just don't think that's going to be a thing. I think it is Hunt to own there, and then it looks like as of late he's at least flex worthy. I don't know. It's still one of those situations where I'm hesitant to start them because now that we've seen some good work out of them, we'll probably see a couple stinkers coming up, especially this week. They got the Texans upcoming, so I'm a little bit down on the Chiefs this week.
Let's have an adult conversation. Let's just say you were a Jaden Daniels owner, and then you had to entrust your team to Jackson Dart, and now Jackson Dart is on bye, and you might still need a win just to get into the playoffs, and your quarterback options are, let's just say hypothetically, Geno Smith, Tyrod Taylor, Tua Tagovailoa, J.J. McCarthy. Who you trusting your fate to with the season at stake?
Is Marcus Mariota an option for you?
No, he's not.
Okay, so basically you gave me Geno, Tyrod, Tua, and J.J. I believe out of the best matchups, I believe it's Tua this week. Who they have off the top of my head, I can't think. I'm not 100% sure.
They have the Jets this week.
They have the Jets. Okay, well, yeah, the Jets' defense has not been that great as of late. But then Tua has been a turnover machine. But then at the same time, do you really want to go with Geno? No, you definitely don't want to go with J.J. McCarthy. So all those four options that are there, your best one is probably Tua.
Or Shedeur Sanders, of course. There is always the Shedeur Sanders.
Oh, jeez. I think they got the Titans this week. I'm not relying on Shedeur. I'm sorry.
There's just no way.
That's not happening. Of all those you mentioned there, it's definitely got to be Tua.
Or Tyler Shuck.
No, I'm not trusting that. Give me, yeah. You Tua, you're not.
Oh, what a time to be!
Yeah, you're very at the bottom. I mean, that's.
No, thank you, Joe. I was not aware.
That's as
I
bad as it
appreciate
gets.
that.
You almost would want to root for somebody to get into. I mean, is Kirk Cousins available?
Kirk Cousins is available, but yeah, are you sure he's a better option?
I mean, they're all about the same guys when I'm here and there.
I
So
hear
you know,
I hear you.
so if that's one of those circumstances there, I mean,
Let's have another adult conversation, right? Let's do it. You're a Lamar Jackson owner.
I am, and it's miserable.
What might legitimately be a better option than Lamar Jackson at this point if, again, your season is at stake?
Well, I've been talking about my guy for a couple of weeks, and somehow he's still so widely available. Jacoby Brissett. I'm not saying I'm starting him over Lamar, but at the same time, I could see why if you own Lamar, you're picking up a Jacoby Brissett. I could see. That's the thing. I can still see the possibility. Like, this will be the week where you decide you want to bench Lamar because he's, been killing you. In the next 2 weeks, he's got the Steelers and the Bengals, and he becomes back to being QB1 overall. So you still start Lamar, but if you have him, unless for some reason you've got, I don't know, if you somehow managed to snag up, let's say, a Joe Burrow when he got injured or something like that, maybe I could see a reasoning for that. But no, Lamar, you're still starting. I mean, I still have him in my top 3 plays this week. I know it's been rough, but at the same time, we expect the old Lamar to come out. At least that's what I need.
Do
for
we?
My fantasy team.
Do we expect? You just used the word
in
expect.
one of those circumstances, right there.
You just said expect. Hope and expect are two very different things, Joe.
Well, I mean, let's face it. This is the best player in the league when healthy, and I think that's what we're finding out. He's not healthy right now. But would I rather play Lamar over Baker Mayfield? Yeah. Would I rather play him over a banged-up Justin Herbert going into Monday night? Yeah. Would I rather play him over Daniel Jones that's also banged up? Yeah. So there's probably maybe 3 quarterbacks that I would still start over Lamar, and that's Josh Allen, Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, and probably maybe Dak Prescott too. But other than that, you're still starting Lamar.
All right. So you're not getting help there. And then one more. What about I did see that Zach Ertz was floating around in a league where I'm in, where I have Mark Andrews as my tight end. Considering how much they've been going to him, would I be better off playing Zach Ertz?
Yes, because at least Ertz gets some consistent targets compared to Andrews. Andrews is on my hate list. We had a very nice he was the last end of that pass the leg parlay the other night that it would have cashed out. We would have won very big. So he is not on my good list right now. He's on the naughty list now that we're entering that Christmas time of the year. So yeah, I would absolutely do that. I would have done that regardless, even without them, just because Ertz is again consistently a factor on the Commanders' offense, and then with the Ravens, it's touchdown or bust with him.
All right, go ahead, Griffin.
I don't know if I really have anything. How about Tennessee's backfield? Is there any way you would lean stronger towards Tajay Spears or Tony Pollard?
I've avoided both of them. I mean, I think I still have both in our PressBox league, and that's just because there's really nobody else to own otherwise. But depending on your league size, you can drop both. To be honest, I did in one league, one of my 12-team leagues. I got rid of Tony Pollard. And if you're one to own of the two, I think it is still Pollard. But at the same time, neither one of them is putting up any points for you to even consider them any week.
If Amari and Hampton doesn't go, so then, or if he does go, you can't start Kamani Vidal anymore, right?
No, kind of similar to what I was saying about Benson.
Yeah.
It's one of those where you don't start either. I still think you start. It's tough, it's like one of those situations. It really depends on what your team looks like this time of the year as well. But no, I would try to avoid that if possible, and then kind of wait and see who's the healthier guy going into next week. And then if you're in the playoffs, you kind of ride those guys' hands.
I'm looking at Vidal, Pollard, or Ollie Gordon, or Isaiah Pacheco. Got to start one of them this week.
You have to start one of them this week?
I do, yeah.
Vidal if Hampton's out.
Well, yes. Okay. And what if Hampton's playing?
What were the 4 options again?
Ollie Gordon, and I have Devon Achane. I've been contemplating doing that the last couple of weeks because Ollie Gordon's getting some goal line touches here, and I just get the whole Miami backfield, make sure I get all the points there. Or Pollard or Isaiah Pacheco.
I mean, if those are your options, to be honest, it probably is Pollard because at least he's still a lead back. He's still getting about 50 yards per game, but at the same time, you're hoping he falls in you're hoping that any of those guys, like you kind of just said about Ollie Gordon, you're just really hoping that any of them fall into the end zone, and that's what happens for you to get your fantasy points there. So you can say the same for any of those guys there. But if you have to give me in order Vidal, if Hampton's not playing, otherwise give me Pollard.
How about the Green Bay pass catchers again? Any more somewhat clarity? Is it Dontavian Wicks the guy now, or I guess Christian Watson's still the one to own?
Watson's the one to own. I think if you have to put them in order, it's Watson, then Dobbs, then Wicks, then Golden. I think that's probably the four. And then now Jaden Reed's coming back, so there's a whole other name in that mix there too. So if you really roster any of those guys, it's Christian Watson. Otherwise, I'm really not trying to hope on any. Oh, maybe Dobbs too. Again, if you're truly in a pinch.
And can we confidently start Daniel Jones, even though he's got half a leg?
Well, again, it's one of those weeks where with four guys on a bye, you almost kind of have to. Let's see where I have him. I have him as QB 13 this week, going against the Jaguars' kind of suspect defense. So as long as he's out there, you kind of hope that the playmakers do what they need to do for him.
I'm kind of down to him or Jacoby Brissett, but Brissett's playing the Rams.
Brissett. Brissett's going to be my guy the rest of the way. I mean, he had another week where he finished as a QB1. He has done it every single week. He is the only player that's finished as a QB1 since I believe he took over as Week 7. He's the only quarterback that's been a quarterback 1 the entire time.
A couple more thoughts. I got so frustrated with Bo Nix and Cortland Sutton that I banished them to my bench. But now I'm so frustrated with Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze that am I back to playing both of the Broncos guys over the Bears guys at this point?
Ooh, that is a good one because I can see why you're frustrated with both situations there. As somebody who also owns Rome Odunze, I can totally understand the frustration there. Actually, in that same league, I have both guys. I have Odunze and Sutton. Wow, that's a good one. I would say.
Remember, the Broncos are playing the Raiders. The Bears are playing the Packers.
So that's what I was leaning towards. I was probably say you probably want to go with the Broncos playing against the Raiders there. So if that's the duo that you want to go with, that's, you could always obviously split it up, but that's probably the duo. Actually, I probably would go the route of Caleb Williams and then Sutton, to be really honest with you.
Caleb Williams and Sutton.
Yes. I like the running back. I like the rushing upside that you get with Williams more than you do with Nix.
Okay.
It's rough. Don't give me. It's rough out
It's rough out here. There's no doubt about that. That was another Jaden Daniels league of mine. Oh, that dog of mine. And then, so then would I play Odunze or Watson as a flex?
Watson.
Yeah.
Until I see something a little bit better out of Odunze, yeah, you have to do that. I mean, Watson is getting good looks. He's getting all the deep shots. He almost seems like he's a touchdown per game guy right now. So, yeah, give me Watson for sure.
Do you flex Odunze or Darren Waller?
Ooh. I think Waller's going to come back this week a lot stronger now that he's another week removed from his injury. So, give me. Is this a standard league too? We're not. If this is like a tight end premium league, for sure you start Waller.
Yeah.
But I think I'm leaning that way regardless. To be honest.
Whew, boy.
I mean, there's been a lot of guys that started off hot. Odunze is one of those.
Yeah.
Abuka is another guy that's killing me in one of those leagues where he got off such a strong start and now he's just single digits every game. So there's a lot of receivers that are like that right now. Give me guys that I know that are putting up points.
All that Ben Johnson love. I don't want to hear it. All
right, last one. Romeo Doubs or DJ Moore? Or Harold Fannin. I could play him.
Give Doubs or DJ Moore. They're like the same guy. They both are touchdowns or nothing. Give me DJ Moore because he does give you the opportunity to maybe make a play as a rusher as well. So, yeah, give me DJ Moore just because he's actually on the flip side. He seems to be getting more looks while Odunze seems to be getting a lot less.
All right. Anything else we should be thinking about going into this final week of the regular season?
Two things. One, we didn't even get to talk about Devin Singletary with the injury to Tyrone Tracy last night becomes the priority pickup of the week. He's available in almost 80% of leagues. So if Devin Singletary is out there, I know it's late in the year, but spend 20% of your fab to go grab him, especially if we find out later in the day that Tracy's going on IR. The other thing being now, with it being such a crucial point of the season, defenses truly matter. So if you're in one of those where you need a defense you're trying to ride the rest of the way, the one that I would suggest is the Buccaneers. They've got the Saints, the Falcons, the Panthers, and then the Dolphins the rest of the way. If for some reason they're not available and you can basically hold off a week, you can wait the Giants out this week because they are on a bye. But then after that, they got Washington, Minnesota, and the Raiders, who are all these teams are basically playing the bottom half of your offenses there. So keep an eye out for the Bucs and the Giants if you need defenses as well.
If Tracy is out, where are you ranking Singletary this week?
If Tracy is out, he'll still be probably running back, let's say between 25-ish or something like that. That's probably where I'll have him here, somewhere in that ballpark range, around 25 or so.
All right.
But he becomes a guy to definitely, especially because there's really nobody else behind him, so he becomes a guy to not only make sure you grab, but he could become a starter down the stretch.
All right. Very good. At Joe Serp, that's how you follow him. PressBoxOnline.com is where you see his stuff. Joe Serpico, always appreciate you, brother. We will talk to you again next Tuesday as we get ready for the playoffs.
Yep. Good luck to everybody out there fighting to get in.
Thanks, man. Joe Serpico, PressBox fantasy football analyst, with us here on GCR. We'll come back in. We'll get a tidbit. We'll get tubular, and we will wind things down for a Tuesday edition of the program. Get in the game with Volo Sports. With over 15 sports to choose from, join a league or grab a Volo membership for discounted play, free daily pickups, fitness classes, and exclusive events. But the best part? A portion of every league fee helps the Volo Kids Foundation provide free sports to over 5,000 kids across Baltimore City each year. Don't miss out. Early pricing for the winter season ends December 12th. Final registration deadline is January 15th. Sign up now at volosports.com/Baltimore.
Get ready to hit the ultimate holiday jackpot at Live Casino during the live action $1 million giveaway. Every Friday through December 26th, we'll draw 25 lucky cash winners, but only one winner each Friday will advance to the final rounds on December 26th, where you could win $1 million in just 3 spins. Come make your million, only at Live Casino. At Erndale Mills, must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Feeling sluggish, unfocused, or not like yourself? It could be low testosterone. At Game Day Men's Health, we specialize in testosterone replacement therapy to help men boost energy, improve mood, and regain confidence. Our treatments, including testosterone cypionate, are safe, natural, and tailored to fit your lifestyle with weekly injections or pellet therapy. Get started today with a free testosterone test and feel the difference. GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Game Day Men's Health, where men reclaim their game.
The weather's getting cooler, so when you and your family are picking out a place to dine, be it lunch or dinner, let's make it nice and easy. Now, with 2 great locations, the Costas Inn remains your #1 destination. Whether you want to get steamed crabs in the full Costas menu out at the original location at 4100 North Point Boulevard, or sample the complete menu minus the steamed crabs at the new location above the grandstand at the Timonium Racetrack, Costas is your place to go. Check out the website, CostasInn.com, for a look at the menu, and if you want to plan that crab feast, call 410-477-1975. The Costas Inn.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
Looking for Baltimore's premier waterfront dining experience? Head to Nick's Fish House, located in the Baltimore Peninsula. Enjoy crabs all year long, plus happy hour Monday through Thursday from 3 to 6. Planning a celebration? From rehearsal dinners to corporate crab feasts, Nick's is the spot to make it unforgettable. And the fun doesn't stop there. Live music fills the air every Thursday through Sunday. Check out the full lineup at nicksfishhouse.com. Nick's, it's where Baltimore comes to eat, drink, and play by the water.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
Coming back in here with Glenn and the other guy, Garrett, whatever his name is. You know who they are.
All right, back in here on GCR as we continue and start to wind down a Tuesday edition of the program. A couple of things. One, I do want to, Brian Powell just texted me. I do want to mention that, yes, we are going to do the Bowl Pick'em again this year, and it will go to benefit Helping Up Mission. I don't remember what the math was from last year. Griffin, just remind me. Did we do $20 or $25 to get in, and it was 50-50? I don't remember. I don't. I'm sorry, I don't remember. I don't remember how many people we had in. I don't remember anything. Brian, maybe you can remind me of those things. This is my truth be told, I've had a lot of people ask me about what we're doing for Helping Up this year. I am trying to figure that out. I definitely want to do something. It is more difficult than it's ever been before, and I had to reorganize some of my priorities because a year ago the last couple of years I've been doing things out of order, and it's hurt my family, and I can't do that to them. So I still want to do it. I just kind of have to change the order of when I start working on those things, which then, of course, puts us behind the 8 ball when we finally do start working on those things. So, that's great. But it is my intention, and I will make some phone calls today about that. I appreciate everyone that's reached out and asked me about Helping Up. We do want to do Helping Up stuff, what it is that we collect. Last year, obviously, we didn't do a big event, and that was because of my father-in-law passing away and just the stress that put on my family. So, my father-in-law passing away, then us getting the bubonic plague, it was just a difficult time. So I still want to do a drinking show this year and have people in. It's just that all falls on me. So I'm working on it. And if you've got suggestions of how to help or sponsors that could help, by all means, please reach out. But the questions right now, as soon as I have answers, I'll give you answers. I could use, help is what I could use in the process.
We did $20 last year.
$20 buy-ins. Half of it will go to Helping Up. Half of it will go to the winner. So we are going to do that again. If you want to get in, go ahead and Venmo me, PayPal me, Cash App. Venmo, Glenn-Clark. PayPal is Glenn Clark 180. Cash App is Glenn Clark Radio. Just send me the $20. Say Bowl Pick'em, and we will get you the link. And when the Bowls go live this Sunday, then you will be in, and you will be able to start making your picks because the first games are the following week. They're the following Saturday, if I remember correctly.
After Army Navy? Or is it during that week? It starts midweek. I don't know. I haven't looked at the bowl schedule.
I think it starts the same day. I think the night.
Okay.
Because,
so including the
because of the late Thanksgiving. I think. Make sure I have this right. Yeah, the Celebration Bowl is the same time, and then the LA Bowl is the night of Army Navy.
Is it the Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl?
I don't know. No, it's the Bucked Up LA Bowl, whatever that is. I'm not sure we're allowed to say that. In fact,
I think
it's the Bucked Up.
I'll say it. I'll say it so that you know it's okay.
Yeah, that's the reality. It's the late Thanksgiving kind of screws everything up. So then Army Navy isn't until the 13th, and everything is quite condensed.
Thanks a lot, Thanksgiving.
Right. Jerks.
Thanksgiving couldn't have gone any worse.
That's a great point. Now it's screwed up the schedule afterwards. So, yeah, we're going to do the Bowl Pick'em again. Let me know that you're in. Just send me a message. Say we're going to get in. I'm going to start harassing everybody that's been in before, but we're doing it. that part will happen, and I want to do more for helping up. I realize we only have 3 weeks before Christmas, but it also doesn't need to be that Christmas is the deadline. Like, we could do something maybe the week after Christmas. I'm working on that. I'd like to do something. I'm hoping to make that possible. So there's that. Oh, I was going to make fun of Penn State. That was something I wanted to do today.
What'd they do?
Objectively hilarious. And not that, like, that I think it's okay that, like, Lane Kiffin quit his team to go to LSU. But one of the things I said when they fired James Franklin, I had Penn State people in my life who were like, they're really going to fire James Franklin just to hire Matt Rule? And I was like, yeah, I don't know what you think this is going to end with. Like, I don't know what you think the ultimate end game is for the Penn State coaching search, but this notion that you're going to get some surefire, slam dunk, best hire of all time, there was only one of those available in Curt Cignetti. The moment that Curt Cignetti locked in that he was staying at Indiana, you didn't have a surefire, slam dunk, home run hire to be made. That person didn't exist. Right now, they might not even be able to get Kalani Sitake, who apparently BYU and the Mormon Church is being very aggressive to try to keep him after Penn State had apparently identified him as, and Penn State fans were like, huh? Like, what? This is the guy? Like, and to be fair, I think Kalani Sitake's a hell of a coach, but to the point, like, you also have to keep.
Is he going to recruit kids to the Central Pennsylvania?
I don't know. The culture fit is a great question to begin with, and then add on to the culture fit question the fact that, like, he won 4 games in his second year at BYU. He won 5 games 2 years ago. The type of stuff that would get you fired at Penn State. Like, he's had a hell of a last couple of years.
Well, maybe Penn State will just start doing the lottery ticket scratch-offs then.
Maybe that's what they're going to be moving
forward.
We're
just going to go, Sitake.
I'm not trying to say he'd be a bad.
The
the culture fit is a real question. I don't know, like, how Kalani Sitake fits at Penn State. I don't know, like, that answer. But they're not even, like, it doesn't even look great for them, their ability to get him. I don't know what you thought this was leading to. It's not even going to be Matt Rule either, who is a Penn State guy but has decided he's staying at Nebraska. This is always the way this was going to go. Like, at some point, you're going to wake up and Brian Dable's going to be the coach at Penn State.
I mean, that's not terrible.
It's not terrible, but none of it's like this is the point to me. There's every fan base has this dream that if you just fire your coach, everything will be fixed by
hiring a new one.
And maybe, and I get it. Like, I'm not even trying to be a James Franklin defender necessarily, because I understand that Penn State desperately wants to win a national championship. And
you're a JFD, aren't you? Yeah.
What's that?
JFD. That's what you are.
Defender?
James Franklin defender.
No,
yeah.
I don't think I am. I think that you had plenty of time to figure out that James Franklin was always going to come up small in big games. Like, I just don't think.
He made it to the Final Four.
Correct. I just think that was sort of his reality. I
guess that was because they got to play Boise.
Yes, correct. The year that they decided to have all the conference champions be the top 4 seeds, it really worked out for James Franklin. Couldn't have worked out better for him. So I understand why they made the move, but this notion that you were gonna, like, we're Penn State, we're gonna get the best possible. Like, what makes you think that? Where is that misplaced, belief coming from? Penn State really matters to Penn State people. I understand that. There are plenty of them in all of our lives. But this notion that Penn State is the program that can just hire whoever they want to hire, whenever they want to hire them, I don't know what programs even are that at this point. I think Alabama is still that program until proven otherwise. And look, Kalen DeBoer had just reached a national championship game, and they were able to get him to come.
Did Dan Lanning say no to that? No, he.
What's that?
Did Dan Lanning say no to Alabama, or they went for DeBoer first?
No, DeBoer was their guy.
He was the guy. Okay.
Yeah, DeBoer was the guy. I think Ohio State is still that program, and like the last one was kind of goofy because like Urban Meyer sort of handpicked that it was going to be Ryan Day. And that's why a lot of people at Penn State were like totally okay with just make Terry Smith. If this is what we're doing, just let it be Terry Smith. At least he's one of ours, right? And maybe that would be my argument too, right? Like at this point, if this is what you're down to is just like someone for the sake of doing it, well
AQ Shipley, you know.
Well, probably not
Real
AQ
Penn State
Shipley,
line.
but he is a Penn State guy. There is no doubt about that. But like, why not just let it be Terry Smith? Like, why not just give him the shot and say, hey, we can. If that's what you're doing, to your point, if you're just taking lottery tickets, and you got a guy who's your guy and people love him there, then I would probably do that before I would do Brian Dable. Or I don't even know at this point who the other names would be if Kalani
What's
Sitake.
Mac Brown up to?
Yeah. I don't know who else will be on the list if Kalani Sitake does indeed end up staying at BYU. I saw it like the odds were floating around yesterday, and there was somebody else whose name was like stunningly high on the list, and you were like, huh. I mean, Brian Hartline is still in that conversation, I think. Although I think that maybe the word was that he wasn't planning on taking it. Imagine thinking that you could get Brian Hartline to Maryland if Penn State can't get Brian Hartline. Imagine thinking that. It's wild, man. It's wild how these things go. I guess we found out yesterday that like the Michigan State thing was less about Jonathan Smith and more about them just deciding they wanted to hire Pat Fitzgerald, who had done a great job at Northwestern, but obviously that comes with a lot of baggage, like a lot of baggage. And I guess I could understand why, like, if you're Michigan State, you'd be willing to take that risk. I guess. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. But I just the Penn State people that thought this was always going to lead to, like, well, you can't hire Matt Rule because you can't just fire James Franklin to hire Matt Rule. Dude, you were always going to get a Matt Rule type. That's always the way this was going to go. Like, Bob Chesney ends up at UCLA.
Yeah.
So scratch him off the list. Obviously, the entire American is going to need new head coaches next year.
Except for
Navy.
Yeah.
Except for Navy.
Go ahead and take that over again.
What's that?
Go ahead and take that over again.
Makes sense. Who tried to hire Drew Cronick? Did he turn him down? One of those, Drew Cronick, of course, offensive coordinator at Navy. Oh, somebody offered him the job. UAB, I think. I think. Yes, UAB offered him their job, and he turned it down. Which is, yeah. I mean it's funny because I was having this conversation with someone recently.
I know I had asked you about it, but
I had said, like, keep in mind he had been like Drew Cronick wasn't just taking any job. Because I don't think people realize how good the Mercer job actually is.
I don't think there's any official like report, but someone floated out him to JMU as well.
Now that one,
yeah, none of that's official. That's just people speculating. But
it makes some sense. Like it would make some sense. I guess that's a better job than UAB because they've kind of been dominant in the Sun Belt. Probably harder to reach.
And you don't have to go against Navy.
Harder to reach the playoff in the Sun Belt than it is the American and the Mountain.
But if he just wants to be a coach, I mean, that's clearly a launching pad right now.
It is. That's true. It just feels like the American and the Mountain West are the leagues that you'd rather be in at the moment because they're the leagues where you can probably get a. I don't know. That's an interesting. Like
Herbstreit keeps talking up JMU that they should be the highest ranked group of 5. But
it's an interesting. It really is. It's an interesting thought. All right, let's get a tidbit. Tidbit is brought to you today by the print issue of PressBox. Is still available for the next couple of weeks before it will be replaced by our annual Best of issue that we're putting the finishing touches on right now. We'll feature our Mo Gaba Sports Person of the Year. Go get this print issue of PressBox with Jim Smith on the cover at your Baltimore area High's Dairy stores today. Read it all for free, PressBoxOnline.com.
It's actually just the Steelers just announced that Derek Harmon is out once again this week.
So run the ball $1 billion. Yeah. I think I saw. Hang on a second. The Bills ran 11 personnel. Something like.
Oh, how much they rushed.
Oh my God! There was a whole story about this yesterday that they like essentially ran the exact same play. something like 27 times, and the Steelers did nothing.
Halfback dive, just over and over.
Oh, come on. I'm going to find it.
And then since we're talking college football, it doesn't really mean a whole lot to us, but a 5-star quarterback, Jared Curtis, was committed to Georgia, flipped to Vanderbilt this morning. So big. That's apparently the highest-ranked signee in program history for Clark Lee and the Commodores. So I thought that was interesting. And then among the some baseball stats I saw over the weekend, only 2 relievers since 2022, so that'd be the last 4 seasons now. 2 relievers have at least 100 saves as well as an 11.5 strikeout per 9 ratio.
You brought it up because Ryan Helsley's one of them?
Ryan Helsley is one of them, yes.
By the way, this is from a Steelers account called Blitzburg. The Bills ran the Bills ran one play against Steelers 29 times, and Steelers coaching staff did not adjust. They just let it happen.
Oh my gosh, their running backs got 43 carries. They handed the ball off 43 times, plus Josh Allen ran it 8 times. Yeah, that's, I mean,
Bills rushed for 249 yards with 2 backup tackles. Well,
win this game 17-10. Can they do it?
I'm in favor. All right. Anyway, the other one is okay. Give me the numbers one more time.
100 saves since 2022. Over 100 saves and an 11.5 strikeout per 9 innings.
11.5 strikeout per 9 innings. It is. God. It is Suarez.
No.
It is Clase.
No. What, you think I'm wrong?
No, the way you said it makes me like.
I mean, yeah, these are good guesses. Just
it's Hader.
Not correct. There you go, Josh Hader.
Okay.
Josh Hader has 131 saves. Helsley has 103, and they both. Hader's insane. 131 saves, 13.5.
I would have taken him. Me personally.
Helsley 103, 11.5 K per 9 since 2022. And then also football one for us. Devontae Adams had another multi-receiving touchdown game, his 28th of his career. He was one of 11 individuals with 20-plus multi-touchdown receiving games, and there are only 5 guys ahead of Devontae all time with more.
11.
Yes.
Jerry Rice.
Jerry Rice is number 1, 44 games with 2+ receiving touchdowns for Jerry Rice.
Randy Moss.
Randy Moss is number 2 with 36, 8 behind Jerry.
Terrell Owens.
He's number 3.
Oh, damn. Now there's pressure.
2 guys tied with 29 at 4th place.
Larry Fitzgerald.
Larry Fitzgerald is just outside the top 11
son
here.
of a bitch.
He's got 19. Cutoff was 20.
Marvin Harrison.
Marvin Harrison is tied for 4th with 29, 1 ahead of Devontae.
Isaac Bruce.
Isaac Bruce outside the top 11. Yeah. He is outside the top 25.
What?
Yeah.
Tim Brown.
No Tim Brown either.
They don't. Oh, I just realized they don't have to be receivers, do they?
Tim Brown is actually. No, they don't have to be, but Tim Brown's tied with Larry Fitzgerald just outside.
You're saying they all are?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, no, they not all are.
No. Tony Gonzalez.
Tony Gonzalez is an O.
Gronk.
Gronk is in the top 11, 20.
Is that all the tight ends?
There's one other tight end.
Oh my God. Antonio Gates.
Antonio Gates, 21. Still missing one more guy in the top 5.
Torrey Holt.
Not Torrey Holt.
Reggie Wayne.
Not Reggie Wayne. They're all outside the top 11 as well.
Andre Johnson.
Not Andre Johnson.
Julio Jones.
Not Julio.
DeAndre Hopkins.
Not DeAndre Hopkins.
Mike Evans.
Not Mike Evans, but he is in the top 11. So Michael Evans counts, just not top 5.
Calvin Johnson.
Nope.
Chris Carter.
Chris Carter is tied with Marvin Harrison for 29 2+ receiving touchdown games.
Michael Irvin.
No Michael Irvin.
Art Monk.
Not Art Monk.
What? Not Art Monk. Art Monk.
This guy's very old. 60s. Art.
Oh, that's where you're going with this. Oh,
he was on the
Art Powell?
Art Powell of the 1960s Oakland Raiders and the 1960s New York Titans as well.
Here for a while.
Pretty good receipt, pretty good ball player.
Andre Reed?
Not Andre Reed. But yeah, the last guy on this list is also an older fella as well.
Steve Largent.
Not
Don
Steve
Hudson.
Largent. Not Don Hudson.
Don.
I could hear it was right on the tip of your tongue there.
Don.
He was on those same New York Titans teams with.
Oh, right. If he was on the New York Titans, then.
And then they later became the New York Jets.
Don Maynard?
Don Maynard, also on this list. 20, yeah, exactly 20 multi-receiving touchdown games for Don Maynard to enter the top 11 here, alongside Devontae Adams.
Is that it?
Yeah, that is it.
That's the whole list?
That's the 11.
Very good. Lord. Here's coming up totally tubular.
That was a good one, wasn't it?
Yeah. Here's coming up totally tubular.
Anytime we can mention Art Powell and Don Maynard.
Don Maynard. Definitely two that I right off the tip of my tongue. Maryland returns home after a debacle of a couple of games out in Vegas against Gonzaga and Alabama. They'll take on Wagner.
You did essentially name the top 20. You did name all the entire.
Did I really?
Yeah.
Well, how about that? That game is tonight at 8 on Big Ten Network.
What a day for college hoops.
Oh, yeah. The
Super Tuesday.
The ACC SEC Challenge gets underway tonight. Duke taking on Florida at 7:30, defending champions on ESPN, and then North Carolina, Kentucky after that at 9:30. UConn, Kansas at 9 o'clock on ESPN2. Big Ten hoops get underway. Iowa, Michigan State at 7 on Peacock.
So
Purdue and Rutgers at what?
How does this work? Why does Maryland get to play Wagner and Purdue is playing Rutgers?
Well, they play Big Ten this weekend, don't they? Don't they play Michigan?
I think so. No, that's next weekend.
Next weekend? Then who do they play this week?
Is that just why they're just delaying it because they wanted that big Saturday night game with Michigan, so that's why they're delaying
don't have that answer.
Big Ten start.
Purdue, Rutgers 8, USC, Oregon at 10 on FS1. Everything else, go to GlennClarkRadio.com and find it there. Capitals, Kings, 10:30 on Monumental. Yeah, there you go. Non-sports.
Couple. CMA Country Christmas Special on ABC tonight at 9.
I've never missed it.
Flip back and forth between that and the college football playoff rankings.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah, that unveiling. 7 o'clock.
Also at 9 on HBO, Hard Knocks in season with the NFC East.
It was so good last year.
Wow, we get more Jerry Jones, so that'll be worth it.
Again, maybe there was time Hard Knocks was really good, but
always.
all of you that have sold me on Hard Knocks and then got me to watch last year, and it sucked.
You didn't like the in season?
It was one of the most unwatchally shows I've ever seen.
The Ravens were winning.
Yeah. God.
What if they were doing it this year?
It was just the press conference.
What if they were doing
nothing remotely interesting?
We were watching their team meetings and how
Myles
Myles Garrett was running the Browns.
A player quit the team.
Oh, yeah.
Refused to go into a game, and it didn't come up on the behind-the-scenes show about the team.
Well, it didn't really
It was a horrendous television program.
Well, it didn't really impact the team.
And I'm so sure.
That was
if that's just what it is, if it's just we're not going to put anything interesting on the show anymore because the teams refuse to participate, then just bag it.
So that was why, because the Deontay Johnson thing. That's why I didn't like it.
There was nothing that you learned from the show that you didn't know from
we learned
just
that the
watching
Steelers and Ravens
the
hate
game.
each other.
You're right, Griffin. Dynamite stuff. I mean, I get it. The coaches don't want you to know anything. The teams don't want you to know anything. I understand the issues, but if that's what you're gonna get, then just light the thing on fire. Say, hey, look, man, we tried, but we're not allowed to do it anymore. They won't let us. Now it's just having sanitized, homogenized shit. That's all it was. It was an unwatchable television program. It was terrible. Now, maybe,
terrible was not.
It was dreadful.
I mean,
it was a nightmare.
I mean, yeah, if
how
you're
bad it was.
a curmudgeon like you. Yeah.
No, as in, anything interesting did not occur. We can all watch the NFL Films recaps of the games. They already have those shows available. This was shit.
We got that the dap up between Roger Rosengarten and Myles Garrett.
Mm-hmm. That was something that we could have seen on the NFL Films recap, no matter what.
Yeah, but we got it on Hard Knocks.
Yeah, great. terrible show.
Matt Rife has a stand-up. He's doing a Christmas special or something on Netflix.
I bet he'll joke about having sex with a mom. I bet he'll do that. You think maybe that's what he's going to do?
Netflix also has a Sean Combs, The Reckoning docuseries.
Rita wants me to watch
I
this.
guess that's probably what you'll have to do this week.
For book club. I don't know, man. Like, isn't 50 Cent kind of a loser, too? Don't we kind of like not like 50 Cent? He's like the executive producer
but he is. But he didn't. It's not like
not because he was involved with the Diddy
right,
stuff.
I know, but he didn't do that.
But don't we have other reasons to not like 50 Cent?
Is it because like he's a bad guy? Or
I feel like there was something.
Or did he
there.
say something?
Maybe
about,
I'm wrong. Maybe I'm
something about us.
Apologize. It might be personal. Why don't we?
And then speaking of 5 stars, Paramount Plus has a new series called 5 Star, where they follow.
It's
some
about the Maryland
5-star.
5-star. Is it behind the scenes?
Do
they talk to the horses?
4 freshman recruits from this season: Bryce Underwood of Michigan, Devin Sanchez of Ohio State, Decorian Moore of Oregon, and a tackle prospect Malachi Goodman from Penn State, as they enter Big Ten football.
Okay, all right, sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Excited? Can tell.
Who we thanking? Oh,
why does 50 Cent hate us? Or we
I don't know. I'm not. Trolling and bullying, public feuds. Maybe I don't actually care about that. He was harassing and insulting a teenager who had a hearing impairment and autism. Yeah, that's not great.
Yeah, but there's got to be more to that.
Great.
Right?
Yeah.
Like he couldn't have known.
Yeah.
You're
I don't
autistic.
I don't know.
Can't hear. Well, the kid couldn't have heard him then.
All right. Anyway, let's wrap up.
I don't think we hate 50 Cent.
Maybe we don't. Thanks today to who are we thanking today? We're thanking Rod Woodson. We're thanking Bo Smolka. We're thanking Joe Serpico. We'll get all of it up in the greatest hits section of the.
It's a good one for Found tonight. Amanda Seyfried, Reba McEntire, Con Knipple, and of Monsters of Men.
What?
On Fallon.
Why is Con Knipple?
Well, his uncle is a Big Ten referee. Big Ten football referee. He was reffing he was the white hat for Oregon. Ohio
Tab
State,
at GlennClarkRadio.com on me for asking a follow-up question. Tomorrow on the program, is Drew coming in?
Drew will be here.
Drew's going to be here. We doing anything?
We're going to talk to Maryland soccer. They got a big win over the weekend.
Oh yeah, who we having on the show tomorrow?
We're going to have Albie and Drenica, I think.
You can really hear.
Hold on. Let me
Dominic DeCoco. Yeah. Dominic DeCoco.
Only Maryland.
Only native, I believe, from the Baltimore Armor program.
Correct.
And it is again?
No,
from you. I want to hear it.
It's Albie and Danica from Only Maryland.
Say it one more time.
Albie and Danica.
All right.
From Only Maryland.
We'll work on it. You can introduce them.
Well, if I must.
Thanks to everybody at PressBox, all of our great sponsors and partners, including Volo Sports, a live casino and hotel, Maryland, Game Day Men's Health, CountySports.zone, your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com, the Costas Inn, 1-800-GAMBLER, helpmygamblingproblem.org, Nick's Fish House, and more. Thanks to Griffin at Griffin_Bass. Follow us, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Glenn Clark Radio. Have a great Tuesday evening. Go Terps. Duke sucks.
Zach Britton got back to me. He said he needs to do 10